Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro RPG. And at the end of another week, and the end of another poll, we've got a significant win for the Aurora Whole Realms Catalogue for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. Now we'll have a look at that on the desktop in a wee second. But as usual, I'll be back at the end of the video with some other channel related stuff and some other stuff about the poll. But a reminder that if you'd like to help the channel out, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, then we've got a Patreon in the description down below, so you can click on that and see what we offer. Anyway, let's have a look at the Aurora's Whole Realms Catalogue. So, this is Aurora's Whole Realms Catalogue, which came out from TSR in 1992. Now, first thing to note is it's kind of smaller than most books. If I bring in the Complete Ranger's Handbook, which I covered a few weeks ago, you can see this is smaller. Now, it's not quite A5. If the standard books are A4, this is not quite. It's slightly over that. But it's still a lot smaller than most of the Dungeons & Dragons books which came out at the time. Now, this is a guidebook or a catalogue of various things you can buy in a particular chain of stores in the Forgotten Realms. Now, it contains very common things, trade goods and the like, but it also contains semi-magical items unique to each of the races. You know, things which are made by elves for elven civilization, which are kind of magical, but you can buy separately now. It's infamously got drow swimwear in it, for example. Now let's have a look at the back cover. Aurora Whole Realms Catalogue. At last, complete in one catalogue, all the finest merchandise Farron has to offer is presented by that enterprising entrepreneur, Aurora the Eclectic. Useful for players in any AD&D fantasy campaign and other role-playing games too. This is a handy listing of items and goods of all kinds, from farming tools to scribes' pens, from imported Shou Lung silks to Maztican cotton, from wines and ales to breads and cheeses. Prices are given in the gold piece standard for simple conversion. Players' shopping trips will never be the same. It is our hope that players and DMs will find this catalogue both useful and enjoyable. Aurora is not above editorializing about her wares, but we think her opinions will be informative as well as entertaining. Now inside, it's a lot lower quality print than most of the TSR stuff. This feels almost like newsprint or what you get in a novel. So the ink is a little smudged. It's not as clear as, again, if I reach for this, you can see that the print quality is acceptable, just not quite as good and as clear. The pages have yellowed slightly over time because, as I said, the paper quality is pretty low. Inside, we've got the contents page and notes from the designers, words from Aurora herself about how the Emporium works, and then we're straight on to sections. So we've got rangers, field stuff. We've got simple things like hatchet backs, a body sleigh, different cages for trapping, cording mallet, equipment frames, field glasses, dagger boots, meant for climbing trees. So if you get those, +2 to tracking proficiency of person following, damage 1d4. Although for climbing boots, they don't seem to give any bonus to climbing. Got fishing tackle, fowling snares, hunting knives, traps, leashes, rope ladders, targets, tree beds, tree seats. Really quite cool things. Whistles and animal calls. Now onto the Thieves' Corner. So we've got the mini blade, a little blade you can attach to your finger to cut open purses to become a cut purse. +5% to pickpockets. Rosin and powder. So stuff to give you literally sticky fingers. Again, that's +2% to pickpockets, but you cannot combine it with a mini blade. A wired cane. So you can be leaning on a cane and still reach out and pick somebody's pocket. Again, that gives a bonus, but isn't combinable with the other items. We've got garrots, glass cutters, hacksaws, hinge removing sets, key making sets, sleep gas, diversion air devices, silent shoes, which give you a +4% bonus to move silently, silk bodysuits, gnomish cloaks, makeup, weapon black, thieving helmet, so a helmet with ears on the side to channel the sound in, +5% to detect noise, but -1 to your armor class because it's big and clunky. Clamp gauntlets and chisel boots. So various things to help out thieves. We've got blade boots for them, which are apparently more damaging than the ranger ones. We've got masks, snap traps, various scams, so begging fakery, disappearing ink, disguises, games. Now on to the Bard's Emporium. So we've got various musical instruments, dulcimers, citerns, lutes, even harpsichords, violins, lyres, rebecks, a zither. I think we used to have one of those around the house when I was a kid. Horns, longhorns, zulkun, which looks like to be a kind of bagpipe to me. Percussion things, so we've got Tolkien's hand drums, a jester's set of clothing, bladders, juggleable items, balls and knives and things, a leaping lever, jumping proficiency up to 3 times PC's height vertically or 12 times PC's height horizontally, allows you to jump higher, different masks and makeup, stilts, puppets, tight ropes. Then we're on to the priest's alcove. So we've got various items for priests. So altar cloths, aspergills for sprinkling holy water, braziers, candles, censers, holy symbols. We've also got things like incenses, which give various bonuses. You know, Constitution 1. 4 sticks burned and inhaled by a named PC apply a +1 bonus to Constitution for 1d4 rounds. Doesn't seem long for a lot of sticks to be burned, but for a free advantage like that. Psionic ones, protection ones. They've got various stuff here, various materials for spell components, and the prices for them. Now, if you want to buy a chicken tail or an eagle tail, and the feathers. Got corn and cotton mesh and berries, all the ingredients they need for their spells. Aromatics and spices, so frankincense. Have they got myrrh? Yep, they've got frankincense and myrrh. Very Christmassy. Then we're on to the Wizard's Laboratory with astrolabes, aprons, barrettes, more braziers and burners, centrifuges, different equipments for preparing potions, papyrus pads, querns. Not that you would really want all the separate prices for these, but it's interesting to have. I could definitely see a wizard player character really going shopping crazy to equip their laboratory. Then we've got all their components. We've got simple stuff for labourers, so bill hooks, hoes, mallets, picks, pitchforks, shovels, scythes, everything you want. Things for joiners, stonemasons. Smiths, so we've got anvils, forges, grindstones. Cost of materials, so if you want to buy a bar of brass or bronze, we've got the prices in here. Gold, silver, steel, platinum, tin. Molds, so you can make arrowheads or axe heads, and various other stuff. Husbandmen, so beehives, branding irons for looking after animals. Then on to inns and taverns, so you can buy bedding and all that. Canisters, tankards, teapots, everything you need to equip out your tavern. Onto scribes' desk, so book safe, cases for books, map making kits, various implements, so chalk sticks, ink stands, ink wells, different sizes of barrels and crates, different storage items, so jars, sacks, kegs. General hardware, so padlocks, chains. The tailor's corner, so we've got various clothing. A nice lounge robe. I can definitely imagine, that looks like a smoking jacket. I can imagine quite a high charisma character having a nice lounging robe. Loincloths, nightshirts, stockings, breeches, cannons. Chemise, doublets, lots of different types of clothing, different costs. They don't really do anything, but it's interesting to know you've got all of them. Onto footwear, so we've got dwarf boots. Using these boots in unarmed combat, a combat will do 1d2 damage. However, the greater weight of the force of the character to subtract 2 from any movement speed greater than walking. Elf shoes. When an elf wears these shoes, he gains a +1 bonus on surprise rolls and a +10 on move silently. No other creatures gain these bonuses. High boots, hip boots, low boots, riding boots, sandals, orc spiker boots with different blades on them. Tabby, so sort of stealth shoes. We've got different types of armor here. Bustenholts, chemises, corsets, skirts, loinguards, leggings, shoulder plates. Right up to, as I mentioned, a drow swimwear. No AC adjustment. Doubles distance PC can swim if nothing else is worn. Different types of jewellery, beads, brooches, gojets, various ornamental boxes, candles, dinner bells, window lace, statues. Personal supplies of bath oils, leather straps for sharpening your razors, snuff boxes, hurricane lamps, warming lamps for heating up your bed, bullseye lamps, different types of illumination. The infra lantern, which is a special one which emits light which extends infravision. It mentions that it's out of stock unless the DM allows it to be in stock, as it might change a campaign. We've got beeswax, scented beeswax, candle molds, wicks, diversions, so different types of toys, clockwork toys, fabric toys, porcelain toys, kaleidoscopes, rocking mounts, a full set of polyhedral dice you can buy in-game, 4 silver. Got drafts and different types of chess. So you can get an ordinary traditional set, the avatar set, or the horde set. Fighting dolls. Now onto the larder, where lists, you can buy apples or apricots, broad beans, all different fruits and vegetables you can get. Different types of jams, jellies, curds, marmalades, and fruit cheeses. Breads, so elven breads, crackers, sourdoughs, tortillas, different types of cheeses, including death cheese, green calishite, sorry, what was that? Yeah, calishite, green calishite cheese. I was going to say calim. Nut cheeses, turmeric bricks, water davians, wines and ales, so different types, golden sands brews, bitter black, knee cracker cider, Arabellan dry wine, Westgate ruby. So you can really flesh out a campaign with these, where a character has a particular type of wine or ale on tap. Going in, you can discover these things are available in different areas. Got exotics, so things which are a bit rarer. So chilies, cigars, cocoa, coffee, garum, ketchup, long beans, potatoes, rice candies. And then we're coming on to wilderness gear, so bedrolls, climbing gears, sort of traditional stuff you'll have, harnesses, a fire grater, a pulley, a horn, tents, walking sticks, blankets, a horse blanket and hood, a saddle and stirrups, a sleigh, saddlebags, bandages, snake dung balm. There you need. What is this? Wood alcohol adds 1 hit point, and the others subtract 1 hit point, so the bombs mostly do you damage. Herbal medication, hooks and peg legs, various healing kits, the priest in a poke as it calls it, trail boots, a tooth wrench, tourniquets, wound packings. And we come to Daroni's workshop. So basically the Forgotten Realms version of Leonardo da Vinci, where he has sketched out various clockwork and mechanical devices. So we've got various clock pieces which are over-engineered, a steam-powered cart, a mechanical instrument that plays itself, a flying machine, light-splitting devices, gliders, a massive siege great crossbow. You can see it's absolutely massive compared to the size of the person. Architectural plans, biographicals, so you can buy in information about any character known in the world, or plans of buildings. It says, if DM wishes to allow purchase of one of these, see the Forgotten Realms Atlas, which we've covered previously. A casement guard, so a giant scythe which goes along the top of a wall, knocking defenders off. A ladder foil, so as people climb up your battlements, these push out, pushing the ladders down. A scythe wagon, so a giant wagon with scythe blades attached to mince people as you ride through armies. Armoured wagons, so a basic tank. Aqua walkers, diving hoods, underwater boats. And then we've got an advert for the Monstrous Compendium. So that was the Aurora Whole Realms catalogue, and that won the poll with 35% of the vote. But I have to admit, I'm starting to really enjoy the first few days of the poll, because it was a three-way tie again. Because Alternity, the Star Drive Arms and Equipment Guide, was equaling the Aurora Whole Realms catalogue, as was the Infantry Weapons of the World for Twilight 2000. All popular choices, and it was interesting to see which way it went. But of course, Dungeons & Dragons reigned supreme, as it so often does, because Dungeons & Dragons is all-conquering. But the Infantry Weapons of the World for Twilight 2000 came second on 27%. Last Crusaders for Deadlands Hell on Earth came in third with 19%. The Star Drive Arms and Equipment Guide came fourth with 13%. And Hidden Agendas for Aeon Trinity came last with 6%. But instead of replacing those with other sourcebooks from another shelf, I've decided to give the Adventures idea a go. I mentioned in one of the videos a few weeks ago that I'll do a Retro Adventures. So we've got a poll for that this week, where I'll have a look at an adventure book and say what I think goes particularly well without spoiling the absolute whole thing, and giving Games Masters an idea whether they might want to pick it up. So, the 5 in the poll this week is Beyond the Mountains of Madness for Call of Cthulhu. Now this is an absolutely massive tome. It's nearly a campaign. It's huge, long, really detailed, and an absolute classic. Then we've got Unbound for Mech Warrior. Now Mech Warrior wasn't hugely supported, but this was one of the books for it, and the books that came out were really good. We've got In Search of the Unknown for Dungeons & Dragons, which probably will win this poll. The classic B1 module, one of the original adventures. And we've got DNA DOA for Shadowrun. Now I've put this one in because not only is it a really good adventure, but it's also written by Dave Arneson, one of the creators of Dungeons & Dragons. So it's really interesting to see him writing for a completely different role-playing game, something he had no involvement in creating. And finally we've got Nightwalker the Villiers Affair for Millennium's End. Now, Millennium's End, there wasn't a bad book for it. Everything that came out was absolutely classic, even though the game itself didn't do terribly well. All the stuff for it was amazing, and I really think this is a very good adventure. I've run it in other settings. Great stuff. So, those are in the poll. Let's see which wins. As I said, my money's on Dungeons & Dragons. But we shall see. Other channel-related stuff? Well, I've not much more going on at the moment. Still trying to get things organised. There are a lot of traumatic events going on in my life, so my time is at an absolute premium, so I haven't managed to do much yet. You'll notice that there's a new end card with thanks to the Patreons. I managed to get that done last week, but I haven't really managed to do anything else, whether it's live streams, extra videos, getting the Discord online or anything like that. So, I think I've whittled on for quite long enough as usual, so thank you very, very much for watching. But, as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.